We will now recognize Gab Lalu from Philippine Daily Inquirer.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Sir, yesterday, it was announced that you filed a resolution calling on the House to investigate yung mga sponsors behind the ghost flood control projects. Meron din po kasing calls to investigate yung sa Davao Flood Control Project naman, considering na madalas pa rin yung pagbaha doon, despite 51 billion, I think, in funds, flood control funds from 2019 to 2022. Masasama rin po ba yun sa scope? Magkapareho ba siya or dapat ba isang committee na lang, isang super committee na lang yung magtakal na?
Kasi iba yung investigasyon nila eh. Sila nag-iimbestiga sila with the end in view of finding criminal liabilities and criminal responsibility. Ako, ang aking proposed investigation is to find out what are the official procedures in these bureaus and departments that cause these things to be possible. Diba? Paano nangyayari ito? Kasi alam niyo itong mga budget processes na to, panahon pa ng martial law ito eh. Doon nag-umpisa yan eh, when Secretary Jaime Laya at the time was heading the budget department. Gumawa sila ng development budget law, no? And then all of the things that you see now, no, the way it is structured and everything, parang alinsunod pa rin sa mga noon. Kaya hindi naman nagbabago masyado yung ating budget process since before. And I was an assistant secretary for finance for 8 years, no? So medyo nababad din ako dyan. Ang problema lang kasi like anything else, pag matagal na, minsan nakakahanap ng lusot eh, yung mga tao, no? Alam mo yung budget natin, if you look at just ano lang, yung flood control lang, for example, ilan ba yung talagang line items sa flood control program ng DPWH? Kung halimbawa 245 or 35 billion yan, ano ha? I-average mo na lang sa 20 million yung isang project, no? Ilan project yan sa 235 billion, no? So pag titignan mo yung listahan ganyang kakapal, ang liliit ng print, no? So libo-libo, in other words. Kung for every district 250 geographical districts plus or minus, maglalagay ka ng let's say 20 na lang na projects, no? Which is small sa totoo lang. 5,000 na 'yon, no? So kung gagawa ka na budget 5,000 ng entries, no? Dadaan sa house 'yan. Pasunod-sunod dyan. Ang daming mga kategorya dun eh. Pagdating sa kabila, umpisa na naman. Ang hirap sundan talaga. So siguro dahil sa ganun, maraming mga medyo matatalinong mga demonyo dyan. Ang ginawa nila, gumawa na ng paraan kung paano nila magagawaan ng ikakwento ko sa inyo maya-maya. Yung magtatabi sila, susubi sila ng konting pera na kanilang kakanain sa dulo. Ganon. Okay? So, our focus is different. Our focus is to stop all of this. Parang make it impossible, no? If not, at least very difficult for people to do this. Okay?
Pero regarding lang doon sa sinabi niyo sa statement niyo, meron kayong nakikitang mga issues na sa 2026 budget? Yeah. Anong mga issues yun, sir? Okay.
So, that's the question that opens up the Pandora's box, ano ha? So lahat kami sa Congress, dito sa National Expenditure Program, binibigyan kami ng NEP of the DPWH for our district. Okay? Yung NEP is composed of 3 or 4 different categories. Siguro alam nyo na yan. One is horizontal, 001 yon. The other one is flood. No? The third one is tawag na convergence. Okay? And then the fourth one is other stuff, no? Pero ang importante, pag tinitignan mo yan, is yung tatlo. Yung horizontal, kalye yun, yung flood, at saka yung convergence. Okay, so yan ang budget, no? Dadating sa amin yan. At the start of the budget process, yung district engineer, gagawa yan ng programa. Kasi, akala natin, nanggagaling lang sa ulap yung mga ganyan na project. Hindi. May national program on infrastructure. May counterpart regional program on infrastructure na nanggaling dun sa national program. Then meron din local infrastructure na nanggaling sa regional. Okay, ang namamahala ng local, district engineer. Mamamahala ng regional, regional director. Mamahala ng national, national officials. Okay? Ang dumadating sa amin, yung local lang. Okay? So, ang gumagawa ng lista, hindi naman kami mga engineer. So, bawa, kailangan kalye. Gagawin yun ng district engineer. No, itong programa, ganito yung halaga niyan, ito, gadyang gagawin. So, meron na silang preliminary study for every item. Dapat, napapasok dyan sa NEP na binibigay sa congressman. Ang sabi ko nga kanina, ang dadagdag lang ng congressman, 150 million, at least for the 2026 budget. For projects na tingin namin dapat gawin. No? Nasira yung tulay na maliit doon sa barangay na gano'n, kaya lagay yun. Medyo nahulog yung isang building dyan, kaya gawin. Mga gano'n. No? Very flexible but local projects yun. Anyway, di nag-umpisa na, natanggap namin itong mga NEP namin. Yung nakakatawang example, yung sa Marikina kay Congressman Marcy Chodoro. Dumating yung kanyang proposed NEP for 2026. Nung nakita niya, magkatabi kami dun sa hearing Sabi niya, Sek, sasoli ko na to sa DBM. Bakit? Sabi niya, lahat ng projects na nakalista dito, tapos na Talaga, anong tapos na sabi niya. At saka yung kaisa-isang project na binisita ng presidente kasama namin, hindi na isama. Yon, number 1 yon, Ngayon, tinginan kami sa aming mga NEP. Bigyan ako ng kopya ng district engineer. Pag-submit niya, nagkaroon din ako ng kopya ng report ng regional director nung sinubmit nila sa national. Alam mo kung ano natanggap namin? Okay. Number 1, yung mga lahat ng flood projects, doon sa, kung pamilya ko sa Antipolo, yung baha sa amin, yung Barangay Mayamot, Munting Dilaw, at saka Mambugan, hindi ba? Ngayon, maniwala kayo, lahat ng projects doon, nawala. Priority namin yun Alam mo, tsaka yan, continuing program yan, hindi naman na yung flood program, nabanggit ko na to dati. Ang uunahin mo, yung pinakadikit sa ilog Kasi kung hindi mo inayos yun, hindi lulusot yung tubig galing sa taas So, umpisa mo sa tabi ng river, pataas kang ganon. Okay? Nandun na kami. Medyo nandun na kami sa second stage Kaya nga hindi na kami nagtatapon ng tubig sa Marikina dahil natapos na namin yung first stage. Problema namin, tumatapon pa rin kami sa Cainta. Nagmi-meeting kami lahat ng mga mayor niyan Nagkakasundo kami kung paano gagawin ng projects para magkatulungan. Di ba? Ngayon, nawala lahat ng aming sinetap sa Mayamot Kaya kawawa ka kung nakatira ka sa mga Kingsville, alam mo yung mga ganon. Hanggang ngayon, lubog-lubog yan Hindi ba? Kasi bakit? Hindi talaga lumusot na naman yung projects. 2 taon na yan. Ngayon, every time may nakikita kami sa inyong mga broadcast na may nababaha sa Antipolo, alam mo kung anong sinasample lagi? Mayamot High School. Mayamot National High School. Isipin mo, may project kami pantanggal ng baha doon. Nawala na naman. Tapos, ito malungkot. Napalitan. Nalagyan ng project na hindi naman namin alam kung saan galing. Daang milyon, Hindi namin alam saan galing. Di, nakaisa na sila doon. Ng baboy pa. Yung 70 million na project, ginawa nilang 1 million. Yung mga 100, ginawa 7. Ginulo talaga. No? So, nagtitingin lang kami. Paano ayusin to? Ngayon, kasi ang sistema sa amin, di ba? Pagka meron kang nakitang hindi tama, gagawa mo ng errata. Di ba? May mga nagsasabi, pag inerata yan, kalukuhan na sigurado yan. Kung hindi namin i-errata to, iiwan namin ganyan yan. Magagawang projects, walang kinalaman sa pangangailangan ng tao. Yun talagang hinihintay nila, hinahanap nila, walang pag-asang ma-implement. Ano na naman yun? Di ba? Ngayon, nag-usap kami sa party leaders meeting. Pasensya na sa ibang party leaders, binubunyag ko yung mga pinag-uusapan namin. Pero tingin ko kailangan malaman. Open naman sila lahat din dito. Nung nagtanungan kami, halos lahat. Ang dami. Ako lang, ito pa. Kung di ba naman napakawalang yan ang gumawa nito. Sabi nga ni Majo, si Majority Leader, sabi niya, Sec, sabi niya, you know, I also experienced the same thing. Pati yung mismong distrito ng ating Pangulo at ang ating majority leader, kinanarin ng ganyan. Napakawalang iya talaga, hindi ba? Oh. So, maraming diskusyon kahapon. I will leave it to the chairman of appropriations to tell you ano yung specific solution. Siyempre, nakahanap kami ng solusyon. Ang unang reaksyon namin lahat, kung walang yaan na ganito, idali na lang natin lahat sa presidente. Alam mo, burahin na natin lahat itong budget process. Diretso na lang kay presidente kasi pag nag-reenacted budget tayo, the amounts will remain. Hindi naman ganun kalayo sa last year's budget yung halaga eh. All the project classifications and titles will disappear. Di ba? So anong mangyayari? Zero base ka ngayon. Mag-isa-isa kayong pipilang ngayon kay presidente, justify ninyo. Pero mas mabuti justify namin kay presidente ito dahil alam namin talagang tinitignan niya to at saka nagmamalasakit siya para sa tao. Kung kani-kanino lang kami pupunta, ito i-justify namin dito sa mga ano na hindi naman namin alam kung anong nangyari dito. Paano namin pagtatanggol yan? Hindi ba? So yun ang naging problema. At yun ang kaya sabi ko, hindi dapat imbestigahin natin. Nag-agree naman sila lahat. Hindi tama, imbestigahin natin yan. Sino ba may kagagawa niyan? Paano nangyari yan? Di ba? Yan pangalawang stage. Ito na lang yung talagang, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back sa amin. Kasi, siyempre may mga natanong na. Hindi ba nakikita ng DBM kung 73 million, 73 million, 73 million, sa 10 73 million, di ba? Tapos 10 rin na 93 million, tapos may ilan na 40. Hindi ba nila napupuna yun? Sunod-sunod naman nakapila yun sa isang pahina, di ba? Anong kailangan tinapos mo para makita mo na medyo suspicious yun? Di ba? Kailangan ba nag-criminology ka para malaman mo, teka muna, tagilid yata ito Di ba? So, yun ang problema natin. Maraming lumalabas na ganyan. Ngayon, doon sa ibang mga agencies, sinabi ko na nga, hindi naman kami kasali sa pag-formulate ng agency. So, mga agency finance people na yung magbabantay sa kanilang mga entries, no? Pero sa tingin ko, baka walang nangyayari katulad dito sa DPWH. Nako, kawawa yung mga kasama kong congressman na kuminsan nabibintang ng kung ano na wala namang kasalanan. At nakikita ko naman marami talagang seryoso naman sa trabaho. Siguro hindi naman kami 100% perfect na house Pero by and large, masipag sila. Ang dami binabasa pag congressman ka. Basa ka ng basa. At kailangan naintindihan mo. So, pero isipin mo, ang dami na nga ng trabaho, ang hirap na nga sundan lahat ng mga nakikita nila. Tapos biglang tatamaan ka ng ganito na hindi mo alam paano mo isasolve.
Sir, 2 follow-up questions on this topic. Ito ba yung sinasabi ni Senator Ping Lacson na parang hindi na raw, parang inuulit daw yung mga projects? Yun ba yung sinasabi?
Kasama na siguro yun Kasi ba't mo ilalagay sa Marikina budget yung tapos na? Kasi pag na-approve yung budget na walang nagbasa nun, na-approve yun, edi pasok yung pera. Kung sino ngayon maggagawa ng implementation niya, di yung ahensya. So parang tumama sila sa loto bigla. Hindi ba? Kasi wala nang kailangan gawin na proyekto pero lumanding na naman yung budget sa kanila. Yun ang sama talaga Hindi talaga ang hirap paniwalaan na may nangyayaring ganyan. Siguro dapat buksan natin, di ba? Tingnan natin, imbestigahan natin to. Paano ba nangyari to? Kasi laging tinuturo DPWH. Pero nagbigay sa amin ng papel na yon, DBM. So sinasabi nila pagtanggap namin, hindi kasi siguro sa central office ng DPWH yan. Siguro, di ba? Mag-imbestiga na tayo para sigurado. Diba? Malaman natin kung saan ba talaga nanggaling yung problema na yan. Yun ang gagawin natin.
Sir, another thing, yung ganitong kalaking magnitude ng issue sa budget sa NEP, ito kaya yung dahilan kung bakit paminsan hindi na ginagalaw ng mga congressman yung mga naka-line item para hindi rin sila masisi kapag nagkaroon ng problema?
Kasama yan. Kasama na yan. Siyempre, pag hindi kasi ito yan pag may line item, pwedeng nanggaling sa taas yun Ibig sabihin, sa taas meaning the Secretary's Office. No? Kasi national project eh. Pag makikita mo yung mga project descriptions, may iba nakalagay Central Office. Pag Central Office, no touch ka na dyan. Meron tayong tinatawag na allocable, tsaka nag-invento ng salita yung mga unallocable. Wala sa dictionary yun eh. Parang forthwith ba? So, allocable, unallocable, no? Yung unallocable, hindi namin pwedeng galawin. Yung allocable, yun yung sinasabi kong rekomendado ng district engineer na pwede namin ipag-usapan with him. At yun ang dinidepensa namin dahil nag-uusap kami sa mga barangay with the district engineer. Sila ang unang pumupunta sa kanya eh. Then dadating na lang sa amin yan pag medyo pagsama-sama niya na. Pero yung mga ganon, yung mga hindi mo alam paano pumasok dyan, you cannot touch it, supposed to be. Unless clearly it's within your allocable, no?
Sir, lipat lang ako sa topic kasi I mean related pa rin pero kasi sinasabi ni Acting Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte na yung mga efforts na ganito to investigate is circus lang at for theatrics lang. Sinabi din naman ni Congressman Pulong Duterte na wag nang pakialaman yung mga baha sa Davao kasi humuhupa naman daw po.
Hindi ko alam paano ko sasagutin yan eh. Siguro kung public official ka, 'di ba? Siguro tanggapin mo lahat ng klaseng pag-iimbestiga eh. 'Di ba? Kasama 'yan sa trabaho eh. 'Di ba? At kung gusto mong patunayan na maayos yung ginawa mo, bakit hindi ka papayag na tignan nila lahat? 'Di ba? Ganun lang 'yun. Hindi lang naman Davao City then in fairness ang iimbestigahin ng committee. At pagkaalam ko, I'm an ex-officio member, sasali ako siguro. Pero as of now, ang alam ko marami silang areas na iimbestigahan. Hindi lang yan. Pati yung pinuntahan ni Presidente sa Baguio, sa Mountain Province, pupuntahan din nila yata yun. Yung mga yun, lahat ng mga binanggit na ni Senator Lacson, I'm sure pupuntahan nila yun. May ibang probinsya pa na alam kong pupuntahan nila na bahala na lang sila mag-announce dyan. Pero hindi naman sinisingle out ang Davao City. Kaya bilang mga tagapaglingkod ng ating gobyerno, wag na tayo magtampo kung titignan yung ating mga project doon. Baka maganda yun, di mapuri pa sila, di ba?
Thank you, Gab. Let us now hear from Haji Camino from Brigada News.
DS, magandang hapon po. May mga civil society organizations po, like halimbawa yung Democracy Watch Philippines na parang ang binabanggit po, why not i-realign na lang daw po yung flood control projects, yung fund para sa flood control projects sa ibang mga bagay like sa education, sa health, at saka sa agriculture sector po. Pabor po ba kayo dyan?
Kasi may iba nagsasabi, i-realign lahat. No? Kasi para daw hindi wala nang diskusyon ng flood control, tanggalin na lang natin lahat. Kawawa naman kaming nasa flood areas, Yung mga nakatira doon sa amin, sige, paliwanag natin kung bakit wala nang gagawin doon, At wala yung zero gagawin. Kung sa akin, kung selective, not partial and selective, I would agree to that, no? In fact, again, dito sa mga discussions namin ng mga party leaders, kumbaga, tinotal-total namin yung mga flood control projects na na-propose ng mga district engineers namin. Okay? Na hindi galing sa kung saan-saan. Yung mga magic na lumalanding sa aming NEP. Nakita namin yung total amount is 150 billion, mga ganon. So may sobra pa na another 90 billion, something like that. Yun, supposed to be implemented by, regional or central. No? Dahil hindi, kasi kung, recommended ng regional, kung malaking project yan, kadalasan foreign funding yan di ba? Kung naman in process yan, hindi naman pwedeng i-eliminate yan o tigilin yan. Pero kung wala pa, hindi pa nag-umpisa, wala naman dun sa distrito na description ng project. Siguro, baka pwede, yun ang ilipat natin. Magkano yun? Siguro mag-give or take mga 80 to 90 billion siguro. ang pwede mong ilipat, no? Ang gusto namin gawin, pasa na lang yan sa presidente, no? At tama ka i-realize. Kasi kami hindi namin magawa yan. Hindi namin pwedeng lumipat from one department halimbawa to another. At ang presidente nagsabi na naman siya na, kailangan natin health, education, etc. Sa akin, sure, no? Yung sobra na hindi naman talaga nakikita sa distrito, ilipat na dun sa pagsusuri ng ating Pangulo, siya na mag-decide kung saan dalhin. Kasi, hindi ko sinasabi na mamamagic na naman yung ganung halaga, no? Pero hindi namin alam at this point ano yun at kung saan pupunta yun. So, since hindi namin alam, doon na sila sa taas mag-usap-usap, magpaliwanag sila at kay Pangulo. Di ba? Na kung hindi nila mapaliwanag, hindi nila mapakita kung saan ba talaga yan, dapat talaga ilipat na yan sa health, education, and other areas of the government.
Sir, para maiwasan po yung mga pagmamagic-magic na binabanggit po ninyo at maiwasan din po na mawalang iya yung budget na dapat po sana kung saan dapat pagdalhan noon. Meron pong mga CSOs or civil society organizations na tumutulong po ngayon at nakikipag-engage sa House of Representatives, especially sa Appropriations Committee para matiyak yung transparency sa budget process. You think yung ilo-launch po ninyo na investigation at saka yung pag-oversight po ninyo sa projects at yung kabuuang proseso, makakatulong or magkakaroon po ng contributions yung civil society para po mas mabantayan yung budget po natin?
Bakit hindi, no? Kasi pagsali ng civil society sa budget process, first time ito. Yung pagbukas ng BICAM discussions after the different versions of the two houses of Congress, bago rin ito. This will be open to you, members of the media, no? So, never nangyari, nakaupo na ba kayo sa BICAM? Palagi ko hindi pa, no? So, these are I think innovations and changes that will probably have a big effect, very lasting. Kasi yung mga kalokohan na ganyan nangyayari sa dilim yan, 'di ba? Pag nandyan yung liwanag, hindi naman gagawin ng tao yan dahil maraming nakatingin, mapapahiya siya, makukulong pa siya. Di ba? So I think the less secretive, no, our processes are, the better. So, alam mo, isang paraan dyan, maglagay ng private sector representative sa lahat. Di ba? Doon pa lang sa formulation, sa department pa lang. Bakit dito na sa Congress? Lahat. Every step.
Since you've mentioned na po kanina yung na hindi naman talaga nagre-reflect sa NEP yung priority projects po na like for example yung binabanggit niyo sa Marikina City sana na natapos na. Meron pong proposal from one of your colleagues po here sa House na parang sa Regional Development Council so RDCs gawin na raw po na 50% para magkaroon ng equitable share yung regions pagdating ho sa allocations ng budget. Do you agree po dito sa proposal na ito?
Mahirap maglagay ng mga percentages like that kasi the way they divide it now is by fund level. So 150 and below. Dati nung panahon ko pa, first time in Congress, 50 million pababa. Ngayon 150 million pababa, no? Yun ang denominations nila or 250 now. Yung higher than 250 nasa regional directors and then I think above 800 or something like that or some amount there nasa national na. Diyan nag-umpisa yung splitting, di ba? Yung isang 800 gagawin nila 5 whatever, no. So medyo hindi maganda rin 'yon. Medyo dapat hindi ituloy yan, no? Na ganyan. Yung percent kuminsan nagkakaproblema pa rin dyan Kasi same thing when you come in with absolute criteria like that, it's very difficult to enforce and there's a very great temptation on many people to circumvent it. Di ba? Siguro in the process of the investigations, we may be able to discuss this matter with DBM and the other agencies. Kung ano ba talaga ang magandang gawin dyan. Kasi iba-iba naman, bawat agency iba We cannot focus only on DPWS kasi hindi naman yan yung buong mundo ng gobyerno no? It just happens to be the problem child now. Pero, we can address other things as well. And when we come up with mga ganyan na procedures, requirements, and standards, it must be applicable to the widest range possible. No? Parang ganun ang sa amin. So, ganun ang magiging direksyon ng aral natin.
Maraming salamat po, DS.
Thank you.
Thank you, Haji. Before we recognize the next reporter, we would like to acknowledge the presence of House Sergeant at Arms, retired Police Major General Napoleon Naptaas. Sir, thank you for being with us.
Lumabas na.
Lumabas. Okay. Okay. Lines Capanti from GMA Online, please proceed with your questions.
Sir, good afternoon. This side po. Sir,
Good there.
good afternoon po. Sir, clarify ko lang po yung revelations nyo dun sa budget. Do you mean na yung continuing infrastructure projects was removed under the 2026 proposed DPWH budget? Tama po ba?
In my district and in many other districts that I have seen, the projects that are part of a series of projects
Yeah.
from a master
Continuing,
plan, from a master plan, were removed. Yeah.
Oh, how much po ito?
Hundreds
Meron.
of millions. Depends on which district you're talking about. No. In the first district, I think it was about 3 to 400 million worth of flood control. It was replaced by a higher amount of, I do not know what, no? Tsaka, so yun ang problema.
Sir, may ballpark ka ng districts na affected since you talked with other party leaders?
Sa aming partido, we are 44. Siguro ang hindi lang nagre-reklamo, wala pang 10.
Okay, sir. Okay po. Thank you. So, second question po, sir. Yung finished projects na were still included under the proposed 2026 budget, magkano po ito? Yung tapos na pero sa district lang po ba yun ni Congressman Marcy or meron ding ibang experience yung ibang districts?
Hindi ako magugulat kung nasa iba yan, ano. At saka hindi ko rin alam, hindi ko naman binusisi yung budget ng Marikina, no. Dahil kami, siyempre, nakakahiya naman, pakialaman yung trabaho niya, no. But, siya nagkwento sa akin na marami, no. So, you might have to ask them, but I know na hindi lang doon. Hindi lang doon.
Okay. Sir, on lifestyle check po. Kasi the former ombudsman, Samuel Martires, actually stopped the policy of conducting lifestyle checks in September 2020. Ni-reveal niya yun sa isang hearing dito po sa House of Representatives. Sabi niya, simula nung umupo siya, tinanggal na daw niya yun dahil wala daw po sa hulog yung 6713. That's his quote, not mine, yung wala sa hulog. It's his statement. So, given that statement from the ombudsman na may mandate po to conduct lifestyle checks, wala pa pong bagong ombudsman ngayon na-appoint si Presidente, ongoing po yung interviews. Going forward, dapat po ba ombudsman ang manguna, ang mag-implement nitong lifestyle check order ni Presidente? Dapat tanggalin na yung dating position ni Ombudsman Martires na hindi naman daw po kasi indicator ng wealth ng corruption.
Well, that may be true, but ostentatious display of wealth is at the very least improper, no, and undesirable for public officials, di ba? Pero bakit mo ililimit sa ombudsman? Why can't you have media do lifestyle checks? O di ba, alam ko sa social media na lifestyle check ng ibang pamilya ng mga ibang nababanggit sa atin mga disputes, di ba? No, I mean, kayo, you have the capability to do it, and I don't see any reason why media should not be allowed to do this, or anybody for that matter. Ang natin, what we have to focus on, if we're going to review yung mga batas covering these things, is when does improper display of your possessions constitute something that is inimical or contrary to the society's values and beliefs, no? And worse, when is it contrary to law? Parang ganyan. Kasi magla-lifestyle check ka, hindi lang para machismis, di ba? Magla-lifestyle check siya para makasuhan mo. Kasi after na lifestyle check mo yan, hindi niya mapaliwanag, hanapin mo na yung kanyang BIR, hanapin mo na yung kanyang salin. Di ba? Kasi kadalasan, humingi ka ng BIR return ng tao, hindi man bibigay sa iyo eh. Di ba? Kasi meron din mga data privacy kung ano-ano. Nobody can just come in. I think even the Freedom of Information Act does not allow that. That I will go ask for your BIR return. Hindi naman siguro pwede yun. But, kung nakita ka na meron kang ostentatious display of wealth, siguro that should be enough basis for an investigative body to look into the records of a public official. Di ba?
Sir, last question on my part. Sir, yung sa SALN lang po. Kasi si Ombudsman Martires din po, ito may memorandum circular siya, 2020 also, restricting the access of the SALN. Hindi niya, kahit mag-request ka sa Ombudsman, hindi niya ibibigay kung walang consent ng may-ari ng SALN. Dapat po ba, kailangan na po bang palitan yung memo na yun na nagre-require pa ng consent ng may SALN? Dapat po ba mas accessible yung SALN ng public officials? Kasi considering po, di ba, meron ding batas na kapag hindi, kaya po nire-require ang public officials to file SALN kapag hindi nag-match yung income sa kung anong meron ka na assets, ill-gotten yun. Yun po kasi yung jurisprudence on that. Ng batas. So, how do you view this, sir? Dapat ba mas maging accessible yung SALN ng public officials?
I do not think there is anything kasi in the law that prevents a SALN document from being given to the public. Kasi, you know, it should be a public record. Why are you going to have a SALN kung confidential? Di ba? So, the purpose of that is to the purpose of that is to ensure that there is no ill-gotten wealth on the part of anyone. So kung meron man sa batas na nagbabawal yan, tingin ko dapat amyendahin na yun, no? And then since the public office is a public trust, all documents that you submit in order to get into that public office should also be public.
So the ombudsman, sir, should grant request for SALN, would you say?
I think he should, unless there is any law that prevents him from doing it. Baka that is just a policy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Linesca. Next up is Earl Tobias from IBC 13.
DS, here po. Sir, good afternoon. Sir, public sentiment question lang naman po. Since kahapon nga po yung kauna-unahang People's Budget Review na nangyari po sa Kamara. Some of the CSOs, sir, or if not, most of them, ang hiling po nila ay greater transparency. Mas mabigat na paniningil sa pananagutan. Doon daw po sa mga, they quote it, na nananamantala sa budget at hindi nilalaan sa tama. Sir, connected with that, they're calling for Freedom of Information Bill na may tulak na isang mekanismo kung saan mas madali nilang ma-access yung mga nangyayari sa loob at labas ng gobyerno. Kung sakasakaling may ganun, sir, are you in support of it? At paano po ba yung magiging itsura nun para itulak yung ganung klaseng mekanismo, sir?
Hindi ko pa nakikita yung proposal na ganyan. In general, in the principle of freedom of information, I'm in favor. No? The specifics of that, I would have to see. Because there is, beyond a certain point, it becomes intrusion into matters you should not go into. But given that we are public officials, that should be a very flexible and very generous boundary, di ba? So, dapat hindi masyadong limitado yung mga tao sa pagsisiyasat sa mga taong naglilingkod sa gobyerno. So, in general, I would say that I'm in favor of that idea. But we would welcome, specific proposals from them on how this will be implemented.
Personally, DS, kapag halimbawa in particular yung budget lang, yung mga kung magkano yung inilaan sa pondo na to, paano namin makikita, ano po bang magandang paraan for that?
Ako, pag natatapos yung ganyan, pinopost ko sa opisina namin eh. Ba't mo tatago? Di ba? So I think it should be public record also. Everybody should be allowed to see it. So I think that should be. Indeed, it's not confidential eh. General Appropriations Act, yung ganyan kakapal, hindi naman tinatago yun eh. Hindi naman nakamark na secret eh. No, I think it's an open document. In fact, Linalabas yata yan sa online eh. Kaya lang, it's really so voluminous. Sabi ko nga, there will probably be like 20,000 items na unless talagang mahaba pasensya mo, na isa-isahin mo talaga yon. Ang hirap talaga maintindihan. Kami, matagal na ako dyan sa ganyang klaseng trabaho. Hinahirapan pa rin ako Yung pa kayang hindi pa niya alam ang sistema. No? So, yeah, I think, but on the issue of should it be available, absolutely.
Sir, last question na lang from my end. After the calls of some leaders here in the House, kinumpirma po ni Infracom Chair Terry Ridon na iimbitahan po nila si Baguio City Mayor Benji Magalong formally para sabihin yung mga nalalaman niya with certain allegations, sir. Your sentiment on that po, and then yung openness din ng committee na magkaroon nga ng independent body para masigurong walang kinikilingan yung investigasyon ng Kamara patungkol dito.
Well, ayokong pangunahan yung committee, no? Kasi siyempre they have their own responsibilities. It is their sphere now, no, of concern. Ako I hope they will be very vigilant and very exhaustive in their investigation. Kasi they are investigating criminal liability. Kaya andun yung Committee on Good Government which can, recommend filing of cases, they probably, they do have the power also of subpoena and to declare a person in contempt if they do not answer. So parang, quasi-judicial proceeding mangyayari doon. So I think that to that extent, I hope tutukan nila lahat. Tsaka walang sasantuhin. Mamaya nabanggit dito patawag na dito lang naman kung may nabanggit dito sa house, andyan lang naman opisina niyan. Hindi patawag nila. Di ba? With respect to Mayor Magalong, nakausap niya na rin ang presidente, I think, when they were in Rio Tuba. Siguro kwento niya dito kung anong napag-usapan nila. And I know that he has a lot of information about engineering things kasi medyo nakakaintindi dyan si Mayor Magalong as far as I know.
Thank you, Earl. Do we still have additional questions from the media? Okay, Red Mendoza from Manila Times. Please proceed.
Hi po, Kong. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Kong, ito nga, sabi nyo nga na mag-lifestyle check na po ang media and yung public. Pero, do you think po ba yung nangyayari ngayon na parang people's lifestyle check sa mga anak ng mga di umano'y mga contractor, anak ng mga na mga nagpo-flaunt ng wealth, does it violate their right to due process? Kasi parang ang dating, they're being, well, of course, sa tingin ng iba, baka kina-cancel sila. Or baka the next thing na makita nila, sunugin na sila on the stake. Sunugin na sila or ibatuhin na sila ng taong bayan. What's your take on this po?
Alam mo, this freedom of information versus right to privacy, that is a decades-old conflict. There are all kinds of opinions either way. I think every society formulates its own standards as to these two realities, no? Depending on what are the sensitivities and culture of their people. But it is always a moving target, no? Ibig sabihin, walang final solution yan That's why you see the laws are always constantly being amended, no? Even in the United States and in Europe and even in Asia, no? Laging tuloy-tuloy ang diskusyon dyan. I think that, with evolving means of communication also, wala naman online dati, di ba? So ngayon, pag linabas mo pinost mo doon, mas kalat yun, Dati, ang libel mo lang, nasa dyaryo. Ngayon, hindi, all kinds, di ba? So it's very hard to come up with a black and white answer dyan, So, lalo na from me, na I'm not really an expert on the law in that regard. Pero yung concern na you're implying about people being who are put to light, no, diyan sa mga ganyan, being subjected to potential physical personal danger. I think that's something na dapat pag-isipan din, no? Na hindi naman siguro tama na they will experience physical danger because of the whatever other people are saying. Ganon.
Kung last question na lang on my end, yun nga po yung sa inyong resolution nga po na you want to reveal those funders po ba? Ano po ang parang end game po nito or in the long run? Are you hoping po ba na sana magkaroon ng reforms sa DBM level? Kasi parang yun nga, yung focus yung nga po is doon sa budgeting level. So ano yung yung end game nyo nito? Kasi I've been following your career po, Kong, since 10 years na po. And you've been an expert on this one. So ano po inyong end game po dito sa pag-file ng resolution na ito?
Nabanggit ko yung yung development budget decree that was signed during martial law. Siguro maybe we should try to then there was a batasan bill also on that. Siguro we should try to review that. Tingnan natin kung meron tayong mga provisions na pwedeng alisin, no? Like kasi kung minsan over time nagkakaroon ng mga kumbaga policies eh. Like for example, on certain projects in the budget sasabihin, 70% national, 30% local. Yung mga ganon, those are not part of the law. Those are really ginawa lang nila yan dahil maybe for the exigencies of the moment, But tignan natin dapat kasi talaga yan. Dapat ang mapagbabawal, Kung gagawa tayo ng mga panukalang pagbabago sa ating mga procedure diyan sa budgeting is pigilin natin yung parking of funds, pigilin natin yung improper transferring of all funds, no? At kasi mas maraming mga matatalino ngayon na nakaisip ng kung anong paraan eh. Gaya niyan, sa tingin ko yung ginagawa sa amin, yung kinakarambola yung aming National Expenditure Program. Kasi binawasan kami lahat eh. Like ako, binawasan kami ng about 40% of what was our budget compared to last year. But kung titignan mo yung total, halos hindi nagbabago eh. So napunta ngayon. Di ba? Saan napunta yun? Tapos meron kang NEP na ganyan. Linagay doon. Yung sa Marikina, completed projects. Anong mangyayari doon? Siyempre, hindi mo ulitin, di ba? O anong gagawin mo sa pondong na-approve doon? Di, gagawa ka naman ng sarili mong project ngayon kung saan mo i-implement yun. Popondohan mo yung walang pondo. Yung mga ganun eh. All of those kailangan balikan. Kasi we take for granted na okay na lahat eh. Apparently, hindi okay. I think if there's anything we learned over the past year, it's that things are not okay. And they need to be fixed. Di ba?
Thank you po, Kong.
Yan. Thank you.
Salamat, Red. We have additional questions coming in. Bibian Gulia from ABS-CBN2. Please proceed.
Hi, Kong. Good afternoon. In relation with the lawmakers allegedly being linked to flood control projects, may we get your thoughts on how government officials should address questions on accountability? Kasi po, a fellow congressman, Representative Gomez, when asked about allegations linking him to a flood control project that recently collapsed, accused those who tried to get his side of being paid as part of a supposed media spin. And then he posted on social media screenshots of private conversations with said media practitioners, exposing their names and personal contact number. Can this be subject of an ethics complaint po, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I encourage you to bring it before the ethics committee here. Hindi naman pwede mga ganun. No, I mean, you are asked to explain something. You're a legislator. You explain. No? Kaya tayo naging legislator dahil tingin ng tao marunong tayo magpaliwanag. Tapos yung ganyan na personal na napakalinaw na kailangan may paliwanag, hindi niya gagawin. And then if you compound the issue by insulting people, no, hindi maganda talaga yun. No, I think the ethics committee should be brought into that. Thank you.
Salamat, Bibian. Roscas from UNTV first and then Gab Lalu.
Sorry sir, idudugtong ko lang doon sa tanong niya sa issue po kay Congressman Gomez. What does it tell? Kasi as lawmakers, syempre kayo po yung nakakaalam ng batas. Dapat alam niyo po kung ano yung umiiral na batas. Pero si Congressman Gomez po, nilantad niya po yung personal information ng some of the reporters, media personnel, and even their personal contact number. So as part of the House leadership, meron po ba kayong blanket reminder sa mga kasama nyo dito sa media, sa Congress, especially na mainit po yung issue ngayon sa mga anomalya sa mga proyekto sa mga distrito?
Well, I'm very disappointed to hear these things, no? At malungkot na nangyayari yung mga ganyan. Legislators, congressmen, senators, we are elected into our positions by people that trust us, express their faith in what we say, express their faith in what we do and what we can do. So, our comportment and behavior in public is very important to reinforcing that faith and belief that they have in us. Hindi na pwede yung, wala akong pakialam sa mga nakatingin sa akin because as a public official, you are expected and held, you're expected to behave and held to a higher standard, no, than other people. So I think that dito sa House of Representatives, we need to do that. And being held to a higher standard does not just require magbarong Tagalog ka, no? I mean, dapat medyo maayos din yung yung pakikitungo mo sa lahat ng mga nakasapaligid mo. We have to be, for us men, we have to be gentlemen, and ladies, of course, need to be ladylike because people count on us, they look at us, and we want to be good role models. We don't want to be examples of what their children should not become. No? So malungkot. I'm very sad that those things are happening.
Singit ko na lang din po, sorry, away from Congressman Gomez issue. Kasi kanina nabanggit nyo din po yung DBCC, na yung pong Development Budget Coordination Committee. Are you implying, sir, na dun pa lang sa level na yon sa pagbuo ng budget may problema na?
No. Actually, wala dun. I think the DBCC is a very effective body to bring together the different aspects of economic planning, no? So NEDA is there, Department of Finance to talk about the revenues, budget to talk about the expenditures, no? So as an institution, I think it has served its purpose extremely well, no? Because the Philippines is one of, in spite of everything, the challenges we face, it's one of the best run economies in the world, no? I mean, not just in Southeast Asia. So of that we should be proud. But then when it goes down to the implementation of things, into the agency operation, sometimes you will have dark holes, no? May mga lubak, malalim na lubak na kaminsan nandyan sa sistema. Yun ang dapat gamutin, no? Na we have to address those problems and find solutions.
Kasi po yung People's Budget Coalition, isang civil society organization, they're proposing to have a open budget transparency server na mula pa lang po sa umpisa ay i-open na po sa media at may access na rin yung civil service organizations dun po sa budget process na yun. Do you support that po?
In general, yes. And until I see the specifics, yes. My only reservation there is we should not be second-guessing the people who are in positions of responsibility. Halimbawa, a district engineer will come up with a set of proposed projects that he has discussed with barangay officials. We don't want people at that stage coming in to say, kalaban ng barangay captain, magre-reklamo siya, sasabihin niya, hindi dapat ganon. Yung isang kalaban ng district engineer, papasok siya, sabihin niya, mali yung specification. Dapat we bring it to a level where intelligent discussion is possible. No? Wag dun sa tirahan lang ng tirahan muna. We have to bring it to a point where there is something to discuss. Kasi kung proposal, kung anong idea pa lang naman yun, siguro not at that level, no? So I agree, open up the budget process in all stages, no? But like kami, di naman kami kasali, except in my district, di kami kasali sa kung anong ideya na lang pumasok sa isip ng mga DPWH. I don't know anything about the regional plans until I attend the Regional Development Council. Mga ganon. But should they attend Regional Development Council? By all means. Because the Regional Development Council makes the plans that end up in the budgets. No? Should they attend the public bidding? Absolutely. No? Kung if you want to be a civil society watchdog, there are enough opportunities for them to impact the system. And I think, this might be a good time to encourage them to do just that. No? Thank you.
Thank you, Gab Lalu, from
Sir.
Inquirer.
Sir, yung tanong ko hindi naman tungkol sa flood control o kay Kong Richard. Sir, kasi noong Tuesday, I know you've heard about this, sir. Na-relieve si General Torre. And being a former Interior Secretary, do you think wala talagang, may basis pala yung pagkaka-relief niya on the grounds na nire-assign niya yung second in command sa PNP?
Okay, from what I know, being ex-Napolcom chairman, no? Okay. What happened there nung rinelieve niya si General Nartates from being deputy chief for administration, linagay siya ngayon sa Western Mindanao Area Police Command. Okay? That was in effect a demotion. Okay? It was a demotion in position. Not a demotion in rank, but a demotion in position. Ngayon, may mga batas at may policies ang Napolcom. You cannot demote people without due process. Tingin ko yan na naging problema dyan. Kasi so many people were demoted, removed from their position, etc. with no due process. What's the due process? Well, you have to go through a review board, no? You have to go to Napolcom and, state the reasons why you are demoting. Ngayon, kung promotion yon, not in rank in position, wala namang kailangan kunin sa Napolcom. If it is a decision that he makes in the exercise of his duties, bawa na bakante isang position, naglagay siya ng isang tao doon on an acting basis. Acting, basis. Without change in rank, there's nothing illegal about that. But if he has the rank, he has that position. You demote him to a position that does not, is not commensurate to the responsibility of that. It's a demotion. And that is a violation. No?
Sir, do you think yung relief ni General Torre tapos hindi naman siya magre-retire pa, 4-star general pa rin siya, would it create a leadership vacuum sa PNP or?
Hindi naman. Actually, this is not the first time this happens. No? Madalas naman yan a 4-star general will be set aside or asked to set aside, and then somebody else will assume the position, acting. Kung ikaw, nandun ka sa rank, wala namang ginagawa, I don't know why you will persist in going there. You retire, you get your retirement pay and live happily ever after, no? Oh, but it's something that the Napolcom can resolve. And actually, ultimately, the President, no? Kasi, alam mo, that item is just an administrative item, no? I mean, in the law, of course, it provides for certain things there, no? But the important title is Chief PNP, not 4-star general, no? So, basta Chief PNP siya, nandun na siya, there's a question. Some people are thinking, well, maybe you can make another item for 4-star general. Ako, why not? You mean, how many 3-star generals do you have? Di ba marami? O 2-star general, di ba marami din? Is there a law that says there's only one 4-star general? I don't think so. And it's an administrative matter. I think the President can, unilaterally decide on the matter upon recommendation of the Napolcom.
Thank you, Gab. We shall now invite Deputy Speaker Puno to give his closing statement before we end the press conference.
Sige. Well, again, thank you very much to all of you. Hindi ako madalas nagpapa-interview for many years, and just yes, my old friend is here. Alam niya that matagal na ako talagang hindi na andito sa harap ninyo. But I actually enjoy these discussions with you kasi you ask very, very good questions, things that make us think. And I think that things that make the people think, which is important. These kinds of discussions are important so that we can, air a lot of issues that people might not think to discuss, but that have struck you as being important in the minds of our population. So, congratulations to all of you for being the effective and efficient and great media persons that you have. No? And thank you for the opportunity this afternoon. Salamat sa inyo lahat.
Once again, salamat po ulit, Deputy Speaker and Antipolo City 1st District Representative Ronaldo Ronaby Puno.